What up? It's Monday morning. What's up, bitches? Welcome to Mat Therapy. I was not paying attention to Lee, and I dropped the ball. My bad.
Well, if anyone out there makes music, maybe we could get some opening music.
Send us your opening music.
This is true.
This is Bex. What'd you do this weekend?
What did I do this weekend? Hi, Donna.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
How are you?
Worked a little as usual.
Oh, get to it.
I may or may not have competed in my first jiu-jitsu tournament.
And
I may have won.
yay! You got first place.
I did get first place.
You did awesome. Okay, so going back to our last show.
Yes.
How did you feel walking onto the mat?
So this might be a little long-winded here, so bear with me. But
Brace yourself, Lee.
It's it's a little interesting, actually. All the years that I spent skating growing up, anytime I would go out to a competition, when, right before, an hour, 2 hours before, or whatever, to the point of going out there on the floor, I was super, super nervous. Like, my stomach in knots, my whole body, like, super tense, not relaxed at all. And it affected my skating for sure.
Okay.
For the 12 years that I did it.
Self-fuckery.
Exactly. Mind fuckery. A part of me was expecting that feeling.
Yeah.
That was part of the reason
That you have hesitated to compete this whole time.
Yes.
Okay.
Part of it.
Okay.
Not 100% all of it, but part of it for sure. So leading up to it, even the whole week before, like, I'm waiting for that feeling. I woke the night before on Saturday night when I was leaving work. I kind of felt a little like, oh shit, it just hit me.
Shit just got real.
Yeah.
12 hours.
I'm a little nervous right now. But then it went away later on the night. I was doing stuff. I had to go to the grocery store doing stuff. It went away. It was fine. And then I woke up Sunday morning and still nothing. It was just, all right, I got to get ready. I got to go eat. I got to do my regular morning routine. I got to make sure to take off by whatever time. Driving down there, I felt nothing.
Well, that's because you had your good friend chatting you up the whole way down. You didn't get a chance to get
Was that it?
nervous because I was there.
That was totally
I had
it.
her back.
That was totally it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I got there, I'm stretching out. I'm waiting for this feeling to hit me.
Right.
And it's not hitting me. And I'm like, this is weird. Up until the point of they called my name to go out on the mat. And I just remember getting up, walking out there thinking, all right, here it goes.
Let's do this.
All right.
Nice.
My only concern throughout the whole thing in both matches was, how is this going to get to the ground? Because takedowns, if you see them,
Not your forte. Yeah.
Not my forte. They definitely need work. I know that. It's going to be worked on.
Yeah.
But totally need work. So,
Well, they were two great matches. I have a question for you.
okay.
At what point did you know that you were going to win each match? Because you lost. She won by heel hook. If you didn't know, it's her thing. Oh, straight ankle lock. Excuse me. Straight ankle lock. She won by 2 straight ankle locks. They were beautiful. We were all super proud of you. But you lost one of them. In the first match, that was your second time you hit it.
We rolled twice.
Correct.
She rolled out of it, and I rolled with her twice.
Right. So at what point did you realize that you were about to win? Or did you not know until it was over and she tapped and you were like, oh shit, I just won?
So the first match was like 1 minute and 10 seconds, the whole thing. So even when we were rolling, when she was rolling out of it and I rolled with her, I knew that leg was still secure. So I knew that once we rolled over, once we were rolled and I was on my back or whatever again, or on my side, I knew I was still in position to kind of readjust and hopefully get the finish.
Right.
So
could you hear all of us coaching you?
Yes.
Or was that something that you were like, I'm not even hearing anybody right now?
So I had a couple of things going into it, that I'd been thinking about, is where I want to get to, what positions I want to be in that will make me, that I'll feel comfortable and relaxed in. One of them was X guard. when I had, like, she was on her knees, I had my butterflies in, and I had this overhook on one of her arms, a pretty deep overhook. I was holding her in pretty well. She kind of started to stand up. Mm-hmm. So I pulled her up on top of me to shoot. The idea was to be able to, lift up her hips and get her to stand up and hopefully get under her for that X guard that I wanted. She didn't totally stand up, so I was trying to set up an X guard with her hips pretty low, which I've done before. It just takes a little more work. Also, you knee yourself in the face sometimes when you do that. It happens. Which I realized this morning. I have a little bruise on my nose from
battle wounds. Those are cool.
That was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one of my goals, was to get to X guard. I knew once I was there, I would be like, all right, cool. This is my game. This is where I'm comfortable.
Now, I know you have said that the heel hook is your move, but like, were you practicing the progressions that you wanted to take? Like to X guard, to this, to this? Okay.
She
Absolutely.
knew how she wanted to get there. We've been working on that for a couple weeks.
Yeah. So I am a big fan of the heel hooks. We're not allowed to do heel hooks in this tournament. But we can do straight ankle locks, which is, little slightly different adjustments.
Now, did you know who you were going to be matched up against?
No.
So this is just what you like, no matter who the opponent is.
Yeah,
okay.
Correct. Yeah. And shout out to Subfighter. Russ and all those guys are awesome.
Yeah,
and put on a great tournament.
Super cool event.
Treat everybody really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was definitely in my plans. Like, if I get there, I'm cool, I'm comfortable, I'm gonna go for it. And it was this is the other weird part about the whole thing. That first match, it was almost like it was in slow motion for me. Like, once I kind of had the X guard kind of in there, it was never like, it wasn't the best position for X guard, but it was kind of in there, and she started falling back to her butt. That's basically at that point my point to move into Ashi. And I started moving into Ashi from there. I was moving in my mind, I was moving super slow, because I was like, that's cool. This is where I'm
nice.
I'm in my zone right now.
Yeah.
And we went into double outside Ashi. Problem is, I wasn't controlling the other leg, so she started to swing it over me, and that's when we started rolling.
Okay.
And then I did hear you telling me, look up at me, when I was trying to go for
I wanted you to arch your back, and I wanted you to put your head back.
Yeah.
So I was like, look at me!
Yeah. So I do, and that's the part where we rolled one more time, and then I heard one of the guys from Van Nuys tell me something about doing it belly down, or do it from there. Yeah. And so it was kind of like a belly down-ish straight ankle.
Yay, congratulations. And you got your hand raised.
I did.
So what lesson are you walking away from this tournament with?
I need to work on my takedowns.
Okay.
For real.
There's your lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's, the other thing, I've learned a lot, even just leading up to it. Like, the stuff that I've been working on last week that I was like, I'd love to do that, that cow catcher from Dogfight. That would have been pretty cool. Because that was super fun. It's just a fun move. Yeah. And in that second match, there was that, it started off, in like a half guard, she was on top, I was on the bottom. And eventually there was a dogfight situation. And in my mind, I was like,
yeah,
this is it right now. This shit's happening right now.
So isn't it cool?
Of course, it didn't happen.
Right. But isn't it cool to be able to, you always train with the same people. Your training partners are your training partners, so those are who you get to practice all the same moves on. Yeah. And then they know what you're going and they know how to counter
I know them.
Yeah. So is it really cool to be able to implement these moves on somebody you hadn't ever rolled with before?
Yeah. Yeah. Because even like that transition up to dogfight, one of the things that I've probably learned it before, but that really finally sunk into my head last week was from lockdown to get up to dogfight is pushing that far knee, like taking that base away from them, just push it. Mm-hmm. And I saw myself doing, like, I was doing that. And
Nice.
Congratulations. I was pushing that. It's weird. Thank you. It's just weird how aware I was in the matches. Yeah. Even like in the second match, looking back at it, there was 22 seconds left on the clock.
There was. That was you came down to it.
Yeah. Yeah. But I remember at one point when I finally passed and I was in side control, somebody screamed out 2 minutes left, and I was like, holy shit, it's almost done.
Yeah.
Like, this was quick.
Yeah. It goes by so, you think, 5 minutes? No, 5 minutes will go by like that in a tournament.
Was so fast.
I was so happy when I got to the point where my matches were over 5 minutes, but you totally inspired me this weekend. I need to get back on the mats. I was telling Becky on the way down there, Lee, I haven't had a serious tournament that I've trained for and walked into like, all right, let's do this. I'm here to compete. The last 2 tournaments I've done, I've been hungover and I was working the tournament. And the only reason I ended up competing was because they didn't have a competitor for somebody that I matched up with. So the promoters would walk over to me and be like, hey, you want to roll? And of course I'm like, yeah.
I think you kind of tried to do that yesterday too.
I totally tried to jump on the mat yesterday.
You came back and you're like, there's no dance.
Yeah, I grabbed Russ. I was like, hey, you have any advanced women competing today? And he was like, no. I was like, damn. I was totally going to jump in, but I also wasn't hungover. I was ready to go yesterday. But I
had an extra rash guard.
You did. I have not prepared for a tournament in so long, and watching my teammates compete yesterday and being there with the energy, and I go to competitions all the time and coach my friends and coach the people that I train, but yesterday, because these are my training partners, I had 2 training partners competing yesterday, and I was like, oh man, God damn it. I gotta get back in there. But yeah, so my bad to my opponents. The 2 ladies that I've had to roll against hungover, I've gone to them beforehand and been like, look, I'm more than happy to give you a match because I know you paid to be in this competition, you trained for it, and I'm happy to be an opponent for you, but I just need you to know that I'm totally hungover. So if I throw up on you, my bad.
My bad.
Did you throw up?
I know, I've never thrown up, but I've learned my lesson. When I'm working a competition, though, it's usually like, hey, last minute, we need you, and I have plans the night before. Obviously, if I trained and was prepared for it, I would never walk into a competition like that. It just so happened that I've been pulled into a couple competitions at the last minute where I've had plans, and that's how it's gone. And of course, I will always step up to anybody, except once. I will tell you a situation where I was like, first competition ever, the one that I didn't know that I had to stand up for. Also, at this first competition, it was Grappling X way back in the day. I think it was like 2007 or 8. It was back in the day, right? Mm-hmm. So first competition, obviously I didn't know how to stand up. I didn't know anything. I wasn't prepared. I'm not the chick that was like, yeah, I'm game. That was not me. I was more like, oh, what's going on? So the promoters, shout out Sean Fowler, comes up to us and he's like, hey, ladies, is anybody willing to move up a couple weight classes? We've got this girl. Yeah, listen to what I'm saying. We've got this girl who doesn't have any competitors, and we were all like, oh, what? And he goes, but I need you guys to know she's a bronze medalist in judo.
Fuck.
In the Olympics. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? Do you hear what I'm saying to you? And we were all like, oh, no.
So she's Rhonda?
It was Rhonda.
Oh, fuck.
So, and now knowing what I would have gone and taken the ass beating, knowing what I know now.
To have that on record?
Just to have that on record. But I didn't, obviously at the time I didn't know anything, so we were all just like, I don't think, no, because how am I going to go up against a judo person, period, let alone an Olympic medalist?
Yeah.
And I don't know how to stand up. But seriously, we went and watched the few girls that were brave enough to step up, and it was like, I know you haven't seen this, but the Avengers, and the moment where Loki is like, he says something and it pisses off the Hulk, and the Hulk is like, rah, 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 rah.
Yeah.
That's what it was like watching her. And she was doing the same thing that she does on all of her fights. She was standing on the mat, and she was doing that bounce that she does, and she was just like, and we were all like, nope, I don't.
Intimidating as
this
fuck.
Day, I wish I could go back and be like, yes, kick my ass. I just want to do this. But that's not the first UFC fighter that it turns out that I obviously I didn't take that match. I should have. So I'm talking to the promoter of Sub Fighter yesterday, Russ, and I was like, hey, I did that competition a couple of years ago. Obviously, I didn't train for that one either. The week before, I was just like, oh, yeah, that's cool. It's a girls' competition. I'll show up. Totally didn't train for it. It was horrible. But I show up, I weigh in, and I'm a little bit heavier than most of the girls that you think I would go up against, which happened to be Carla Esparza and all those girls. Probably wouldn't got my ass kicked on that one. But I weighed in a little heavy, and I was with the ladies over 140 pounds. So I get a pro fighter who kicked my ass. I didn't train, plus, even probably on my best day, I probably would have just survived her.
Right.
So I'm talking to Russ. I'm like, man, who's that pro fighter you had at that tournament? And he's like, Carla Esparza. I'm like, no, I knew who Carla was. And then he named somebody else. I'm like, no, I know. Oh, Ashley. I was like, I know who Ashley Evans Smith is. And he was like, Marion Renault. And I was like, is that who I went against? And he was like, yeah, you went against Marion Renault. And I was like, oh, well, she just fought in the UFC the other day. So
no big deal.
No biggie. I am proud to say.
Yeah, I got my ass kicked.
I'll take it. Like I said, I would totally go back and take that match against Ronda. Probably get my arm ripped off. Totally
worth it.
Totally worth it. I'll take it.
Just to go back for 1 second.
Yes.
Like, how much did you grow, Becky, from like the time? Because you went back. Like, it's like when you went back, like 2 years ago or like a year ago.
A little over a year ago.
So from the time that you came back to now winning a tournament, what was that like? Like what's the difference in yourself?
My training is way more serious now than it was that first year or whatever that I was training. I feel like the first year that I was training, I would go to class and I would do things like the moves that we were being taught, but like
you weren't really retaining the information.
Yeah, like it really wasn't that almost important for me. Like it was fun. I was having tons of fun doing things, but it wasn't about, I don't know, it wasn't about retaining it, because at the time also I had no intention of competing. I had zero. When I started this, I was like, this is for fun. I'm not going to compete.
Right.
And everybody would bug me, when are you going to compete? I'm like, that's not what I'm doing it for.
Right.
So maybe that had something to do with it a little.
Sure. Well, you came into it this time with a completely different state of mind.
Well, sure. I missed it. I loved it, and I missed it tremendously. So, there's that. It was, it was pulling on my heartstrings basically.
Yeah.
At this point, I knew that.
You got
now.
the bug.
Yeah.
You got the bug. You didn't have the bug before. Now you got the bug.
Yeah. I had tons of fun with it before, but yeah, I don't feel like I was as serious about my training and about retaining the things that I was learning.
And like, what about, like, not even going back a year ago, I'm talking about like the first time you even heard about jiu-jitsu, and now you're a gold medalist, and like it's
now you're a gold medalist.
Yeah, you're the champ. That's what I tweeted when the champ is here.
Wait, so what?
So looking back on your first class, and now you won a tournament.
Yeah.
Like, just talk, like, what did you think of that first class?
That first class was me saying, okay, fine, I'll give this a try. I'll give jiu-jitsu a try. You've been bugging me, someone's been bugging me about it, so I'll give it a try. Fine. So I went in with kind of low expectations of how I was going to feel about it. I was just like, whatever, I'm just, at least I tried it, basically. So I don't know. I don't know that I even went into it with any intention of continuing to do this. I just kind of went in to try it.
And now do you have are you going to defend your title?
Now I have zero intention of ever stopping. That's what's changed.
That's awesome.
That's what's changed.
Yeah. So. I definitely got the bug. I was like, oh, I gotta compete.
What was it like for you, Donna? Like the first time you competed, did it like really invigorate you? Were you scared like that first time?
No. My first time was so weird, and the community and culture wasn't it what it is now. This was back when there weren't a lot of women competing. So my first, I feel like 3 tournaments, I never had any compete. Like I had maybe one competitor. I remember one tournament I got 2 competitors, and I was like, yeah, oh my god, this is amazing. Like there just weren't a lot of women competing back then, at least in no-gi.
Was there ever a thought to put you in with the guys or no?
No, they usually only do that with kids. I've never seen that happen in the adult division. I would think that, I don't know, I think it would maybe depend on the people. I would go up against guys my own weight, but I don't know if there's the weight class that I'm at, which is like 30 or 35, is usually so heavy in the guys division that there's never a lack of guys competing in that division. So it's usually not like, oh, we don't have anybody to compete. Do you guys want to go against each other? It's usually there's just not enough girls. And so I didn't compete for a long time. I didn't get the bug for it. It wasn't something that was super enticing to me because the few times that I had spent money on it, I didn't get a lot of competitors. It wasn't super enjoyable. I didn't have the community of ladies that I have now. It was usually just me tagging along with the guys and not really knowing what I was doing, and they were all kicking ass and wrestling, and they were all high level guys, and it wasn't the same experience for me. So I didn't really start enjoying the competition process until I started going and coaching the ladies that I had been training with and coaching up till that point. And then I was like, oh, it's fun now. Now I'm in. I want to get back in, which is kind of how I ended up in the whole. I worked for a couple competitions because I really liked the guys that were throwing it, and I respected what they were doing for the community, and I wanted to be involved and learn the business of it. And so my journey to competition is completely different. I really loved the sport, but I didn't have the same experiences. So now I think I'm ready to approach it differently than I have in the past.
I'm not sure if you even know an answer to this question, but let's say there's a bunch of women in a smaller city, not Los Angeles. What is the, I don't know, how much of a market is there in smaller cities for these women to maybe go to tournaments? Is it available in most?
I think it's growing. I think like anything within the combat sport realm is growing for ladies. Over the last 10 years, it went from being so few and far between, and that's why the ladies that were competing are such veterans of the sport, because they had to put themselves out there and go find the fights, and they had to go find the tournaments, and they had to go find all of that stuff. And now it's readily available. I imagine if you live in a smaller town in a rural area, you are traveling for probably your training and your competitions, but they are out there. It all exists now. There are so many competitions. Specifically, I'm speaking about no-gi. I can't talk very
I'm sure
I don't know the gi world very well, but I would imagine the gi world grew faster than the no gi world for ladies, at least. So now in the last 5 years, it's completely exploded, and it is readily available for any woman that wants to compete. And there's way more competitors than there has been in the past. I would imagine that if we somehow could take a poll, that women signing up for jiu-jitsu in the past 5 years is more than it was in the 10 years previous to that.
I'm sure it's grown exponentially.
Yeah, when I joined, there was so very few of us. Not that we were all super happy to see each other, but when I show up to, and 7-8 years ago, if I showed up to a competition and I'm with 5 of the other 10th planet women, and there was only one girl from another school, we're like, I just paid X amount of dollars to compete against the women that I train with every day. And we were all from different schools. I mean, within the 10th planet system, but we consider ourselves a team. So, yeah.
That's what I was afraid of. That's one of the things that I didn't want to be in a position to be going up against, especially against someone that I train with every day.
Was, the other purple belt at our school, she and I, for a long time, she's really heavy on competing. And so why would I want to pay, any amount of dollars to compete against my actual training partner that I roll with 5 days a week? So for a long time, it was her thing and not my thing. And so she went to the competitions because she was the representative and she was doing it. Now that there's more competitors and, available opponents, I got the bug. I want back in. Yeah. The other thing for me was my personal self-fuckery is I struggle with my weight. And so I let myself get intimidated when I have to go up against much bigger women. A lot of times they are professional fighters, and that's where my issues and my self-fuckery comes in.
Mm-hmm. So in these are tournaments that aren't, it's not like it's good to win, but it's not like it's a promotion like on TV. Why are professional fighters going into these tournaments?
Because grappling tournaments are awesome and fun.
Really? That's all they're just like, hey, it's fun.
Well, it's also good competition. It's good to keep you in, if you're cutting weight, or if you want that practice in there to be competitive and work that particular part of your sport. Let's say you probably have really great stand-up coaches and you want to test yourself on the ground. It's a great way to stay sharp.
Do they ever, and I know it probably wouldn't be this case because it wouldn't be like a white belt versus a pro.
No, you stay within your
But even
range.
So, like, is there a huge difference between a purple belt who's going just for exercise and they love the sport versus a purple belt who's a pro fighter?
Yeah, that's me. So that's what happens when I walk in. Yeah.
So like, what's the difference then if you're the same rank? Like what?
Well, let me put it to you this way: what's the difference between a person that trains twice a week and a person that trains 5 days a week?
Even if it's not jiu-jitsu, they're just in great, amazing shape.
Right.
That, and they're probably also doing a lot of strength and conditioning and
different,
diet. They're dieting.
Yeah.
For the sport.
But I don't know. That used to intimidate me. And I don't only train 2 days a week, but that I was for a while. Mm-hmm. And so I knew I was that girl that was only training 2 days a week and I wasn't as committed to the sport. So it was scary, not in a way that I thought they were ever going to hurt me, but it's scary knowing mentally scary. I only train 2 days a week and my technique's not all that great. My cardio's not that great. And here's a person that's doing 2 a days every day and their whole life is fighting. It's not going to be an even match.
Do you ever get like mad? Is it ever inappropriate for a pro fighter to be at these tournaments?
No way. No way. If they're in that belt class, that's awesome that they're there. And now I have a different opinion about it for myself. I'll go in there and take the ass kicking because I think it's awesome. I'm down for it. And maybe I won't get my ass kicked. I mean, I'm not saying that if I step on the mat, I'm definitely going to get my ass kicked. I think I can hold my own. I'm not amazing, but I'm not bad. So yeah,
you earned that purple belt.
I feel like I earned my purple belt. I'm very proud of it. It's something that I wear proudly and think that I am,
as you should.
My skill level is at that level. Sure. And I think I have a more than adequate grasp of our system. And I'm very knowledgeable about the 10th planet system and Eddie's form of jiu-jitsu. I feel like I'm very adequate at that. So I am in a different place now that I'm training more, and now that I feel like I have a little bit more control of my body because I got all my hormonies under control. The hormonies. From my big fat Greek wedding. Becky, have you ever seen my big fat Greek wedding?
Negative. Apparently it's what my family
Becky's
is like.
never seen my big fat Greek wedding, and it's an awesome movie, and you suck. Anyways, my hormonies are under control, and so I am able to cut weight a little bit easier, and now that helps with my self-confidence, and my training is right there. I'm training 4 to 6 times a week, and I'm very happy with it, and I am game to go out there and go against other purple belt women and see what happens. Yeah.
Well, next one.
I'm in.
I'm going to be poking at you.
I'm in. Let's do it.
When are you going to sign up?
Yeah.
I started looking up even before the competition. Last week I was already looking up. I'm like, when's the next competition?
In Southern California.
But even then, like, I was just kind of looking out of curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
It still hasn't hit me that, like, I want to compete again.
Right.
Like, there's a lot of people that are like, I'm ready for the next competition. I'm ready for the next competition. And that I didn't get either.
Okay.
Like, I'll totally do it again. The one thing I'm praying is that sense of calm will continue on through my
now that you've experienced, you're like, oh,
my future competition. Yeah, like, I hope in future competitions I have that sense of calm going into it. Like, all right, cool, let's just have some fun. Like, that's gonna totally be my goal for in the future.
Awesome, just to keep that feeling.
Just to have fun.
You had fun. Like, did you get to talk to any of your opponents?
There was one girl that I kept seeing walking around. She was the only one that I was like, she's a little intimidating. Like, really? she seemed very confident. Mm-hmm. Like, the way she was walking around, she just seemed very, like, sure of herself and confident. Sure. And I was like,
was she the shorter girl?
No, it was that tall blonde girl. She had braids in. Like, she
has the look. I don't know anything about her training. I know who one of her coaches was. She was at the Gracie School. Jason Manley was coaching her. Jason Manley's a professional fighter, I believe, or a high-level jiu-jitsu guy. I know him from the community. And he was coaching her. So,
okay.
Yeah, she definitely had
that look. She had that look, and it was a little, like, that Ronda look of, like...
She had a little bit of it. It was the tall blonde. She had tattoos. She had the cornrows. She had the look down.
Yeah.
She was also incredibly friendly.
Was she?
Yeah, I shook her hand after... So there was another lady competing against her who I knew from other competitions who doesn't train within our system, but is friendly to the system. Mm-hmm. And she was using some of our moves. Mm-hmm. And halfway through her match, I'm watching her... and she's competing against the girl that you just mentioned.
Yeah.
And I'm watching her, and this girl has, all these coaches coaching her, and I don't hear anybody coaching. Her name's Claudia. I don't hear anybody coaching Claudia. And I'm looking around, and I see the T-shirts of the guys that she's with, but none of them are coaching her. And one guy's videotaping her, and I'm sure it's on the video that they can hear. She starts using moves that I'm very familiar with and that I'm actually very proficient in, and because they're from our system. And I'm like, who's coaching Claudia? And so I just started coaching her. And after the match, she came up to me. She was like, thank you so much. She gave me a hug. And she was like, that was awesome. I was like, come and train anytime you want. Yeah. But then the next match, you guys drew each other. And I looked at her and I was like, I'm so sorry. I can't coach you for this match. I have to coach her because this is my teammate.
I think I was standing next to you when you told her that. She was a total sweetheart. I talked to her for a few minutes before.
Cool, yeah.
And I heard you telling her, like, I'm sorry, I can't coach you because I'm here to coach her.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right.
It was all hugs afterwards, and it was awesome.
But it's interesting because even, like, I was watching the matches before me. In skating, I would have never sat there and watched the girls that skated before me.
You were even clapping for them.
Yeah. I was.
That's the cool thing about the sport.
I would never have watched the girls that skated before me.
Really?
Oh, no. I sat away. I didn't even want to hear people clapping for them. Like, that means I know they just landed something or they just, pulled something off really good.
What would you do? Like, go sit in the back with headphones on?
Well, I never really had music on. But, I mean, I couldn't really do anything about what I heard. But I definitely wouldn't be watching.
Interesting.
And yesterday I found myself just sitting there watching. And I don't remember thinking, like, nothing...
How did you feel about the atmosphere, the competitors with each other? Did you feel like it was as friendly as I've been saying it is?
Claudia was friendly. Mm-hmm. She was super friendly. I didn't really get a chance to talk to any of the other girls. So, okay. But yeah, she was...
Shout out to Claudia Lara. She's from... there's an area in Los Angeles called Boyle Heights. It's one of the... it's a Hispanic area, and there's a youth center there. I'm so gonna date myself with this. There's the Hollenbeck Youth Center, and if you remember the early 80s, there's a movie called Breakin' and Breakin' 2, and the youth center there was called Miracles, and it was filmed at Hollenbeck Youth Center. Anyway, so there's my old lady thing. But so this team that Claudia trains out of Hollenbeck Youth Center, and they train all the kids in the neighborhood, and they teach them fighting and combat sports, and they're an amazing group of people. And if you ever have people in the sport, if you ever have a chance to go hang out in East LA with this group of people in Boyle Heights, and I'm sorry, I can't remember your team name. They're an awesome bunch of just cool people. They always show up at competitions. They're always game to compete, and they're just super cool people.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, she was super friendly. I wish I could have had a chance to talk to the other girls.
Yeah. Everybody was pretty friendly. I had the chance. Obviously, I wasn't competing, but I talked to a couple girls. I didn't catch a lot of their names, but hugs and handshakes and good jobs all around. And it was such a great environment yesterday. Yeah.
It was fun.
Also, I would like to give a shout out to Nuwaza Apparel. Eddie from Nuwaza hooked me up with this badass Darth Vader shirt because he heard me say that my husband Jonathan jacked me for my In Jiu-Jitsu We Trust shirt, and he felt really bad. He was like, here, I'm going to hook you up with this shirt because I know your other Nuwaza shirt got jacked by your husband. So I was like, yeah! And I got my shirt. I'm rocking it. Thank you, Eddie from Nuwaza.
Nice. So I have found myself since yesterday, since the tournament yesterday, I have watched the videos from
your
my matches. Yeah. I can't even count how many times I've watched them.
What are you watching? Are you watching for what you did? Are you trying to see if you were listening to what people were telling you to do?
All of the things.
Okay.
They're like, I just throughout the day yesterday and this morning, like I'm thinking of like, who was it that was telling me this, or who was it that was telling me that? So sometimes it was go back to listen to see who I heard, because going back, I remember hearing voices certain voices at certain times very clearly. Sometimes it was yours, sometimes it was, some of the other guys that were coaching me. But trying to I don't know, then it was also like, okay, on the second match at one point I was mounted, I was trying to set up that head and arm triangle. That was one of the other moves that I would have ideally liked to have gotten also, but I ended up with a straight ankle lock, and I was like, how how did I get from there to there? Like, I don't even remember. I couldn't remember.
She got you on guard.
I couldn't remember at that point.
She pulled guard.
I know.
When you were trying to set up the head and arm triangle.
So that was one of my other kind of comfort zones, if you will, which was get me in guard. Yeah. Put me in your guard, and then I'm going to try and knee slice, and I'll, fall back and take.
I remember yelling that out with you. I was like, there's your guard. You got what you want.
Yeah. But I couldn't remember at the,
Yeah.
Afterwards, I was like, how did I get from being mounted to...
I'm surprised you can remember so much about your matches. But I guess since you watched them a whole bunch of times.
Well, I've watched them a bunch of times, but I feel like even without watching them, I remembered quite a bit of it.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. Is that...
No,
I don't feel like that's not normal.
I don't have
I feel like that's not
I've
normal.
I've had circumstances my last couple competitions. But actually, when my adrenaline's pumping, even on a super hard roll in class, I only remember specific moments.
I feel like I've had more adrenaline in class with having my coach watching me while I roll than
I remember
I did
specific
yesterday.
Things. Usually if it's like I landed something that I wanted to do, or if I was able to maybe finish a path that I've been working on and I was able to successfully make it happen, then those are things that I remember. Or if I, get caught in something, I'm like, oh, motherfucker.
She did have me in the second match against Claudia. We were in half guard. She was on top, I was on bottom, and she had her arms around my neck at that point. So everybody was like yelling at me. I totally heard you a million times. Get locked down, get locked down.
Well, you know how I knew you were going to get out of that?
Huh.
Because I love guillotines.
Yeah.
And she fights out of my guillotines every single day.
I had to. You know how many times this girl has snatched my fucking neck?
I was like, at one point after I was like, oh.
I basically had to specifically go ask people, like, what the fuck do I do here? Because nothing's working for me against her. She gets it from anywhere.
I do like them. I like the guillotine.
So she had her arms around my neck.
Yeah,
so
I knew
everybody was like, go for lockdown. But her knee was so far up that if I would have, in the transition to go into lockdown, she would have knee sliced past. Okay. That's why I wasn't. Well, that's why I didn't.
Strategy on your part then.
Push. That's why it was kind of a slow process. I was trying to creep my foot in.
Yeah. Good strategy on your part. Ben.
But my hands were busy protecting my neck. So ideally, I would have wanted to push her knee down so that I could have set up that lockdown.
Right.
But my hands were busy up here, trying not to get choked.
Somebody went out yesterday.
When?
It was in the guys' 135, 140, 130. It was one of the lighter guys categories, and a guy had another guy in a guillotine, and I thought the attacker was trying to get tighter on the guillotine because I saw his hands go like this.
Oh no.
3 seconds later, everybody at the same moment realized the guy went out. The ref was on the wrong side to see that the defender had gone limp. And so somebody from across the mat yelled, he's out, he's out, he's out. And I just want to touch back on something that I said in episode 2. Listen to it. Putting somebody out is a horrible feeling. The guy was fine. They brought him to a few seconds later. He was out for a few minutes. But the guy that put him out, obviously he wanted to win that match. Obviously, that was his goal going into that match. He felt so horrible that he put this person out. Sure. And you could see it on his face, and it ruined the whole moment. And I'm not saying the guy didn't tap on purpose. Maybe he got caught. Maybe he thought he could fight his way out of it. I don't know the circumstances. All I'm saying is, when and it is a part of the sport. It's touching back on what we talked about earlier, that first of all, going out is never a good idea. You're cutting off oxygen and blood to your head. So anytime that you can avoid that, please tap. Secondly, it's a horrible feeling to be the person that did that. And afterwards he was like, that's my friend. And I was like, it's going to be okay. Obviously it's part of the sport, but don't beat yourself too bad about it. But I wanted to bring that up to you guys because I saw it happen right there, and I saw the guy's face, and he felt horrible that he put this person out.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's scary. I was gonna ask Becky about because you mentioned earlier, were you following instructions? And I watched. I haven't seen the whole video, but I saw the Instagram, and I don't know how to do the straight ankle lock or the movie we're doing. But I heard put your head down, and I could see like you just put your head on the mat. Yeah. It was great. It was.
She told me to look up at her.
What,
and you
what that does is it arches your back.
I also realized, and I need to get this one more ingrained in my head. But as I'm listening to the video, I hear you, and I'm hearing you screaming, and I'm like, is she screaming tampon?
Yeah.
It didn't click right away.
Remember we talked about defending heel hooks and ankle locks? I was like, tampon! Stick your foot right there and get her off of you.
I don't...
Did you do it?
No, because I haven't set that name yet in my head as that's what it... I feel like we've called it other things.
We have, and I couldn't remember anything else that we've called it, but I was like, tampon, stick your foot right there.
I think naming it tampon just came up like this week. Like in the last couple of weeks, maybe. So at the time, I did not catch that one. But even watching the video so many times, I'm like, is she saying tampon?
I was saying tampon.
And it finally clicked last night. I'm like, oh, yeah. I know what she's saying.
I was staying true to the tradition of 10th Planet and using funny names for coaching purposes. Yeah. So, yes,
basically,
I was yelling
she was trying to tell me to stick my toes up her vagina.
To get her off of your ankle.
To get away. Because that was,
I sorry, not sorry. I wanted you to get out of the ankle.
There was a couple of moments in that fight. Once she got on top, I think I had her in lockdown. She was setting up an Ezekiel choke.
I saw that.
I felt that.
I saw that.
And I was like, fuck. All right. Yeah. But it wasn't super tight. I turned my head. I was okay. And then I heard one of the guys from Van Nuys tell me, I don't remember how he worded it, but it was to
Jaws of Life.
Yeah, something like that. So I find that's how I think got that away. But then, she had my ankle.
I know. I said
but
it.
She had it on. Both of my legs both of her legs were on the inside. Both of my legs were on the outside.
So you're in a good position to defend.
She had my ankle, but my leg, I was in the better position as far as a straight ankle. But she had it, and she was trying to extend it at that point, and I was like, okay, stay calm. And that was not my good ankle.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, she's not. It can be finished. I feel like someone has finished it on me from not the correct position. So I was like, okay, just feel it out. You've got her ankle. You're in the better position.
Tampon.
And you see in the video, which, by the way, I'm going to post them up this afternoon. I'll post the full fights on there, or the full matches.
For all of your viewing pleasure.
For all of your viewing pleasures. But you see me... and I love, for some reason, I love this part of the video where both my legs are on the outside. I'm holding on to the one to her right ankle, and you see me just slide my leg right under and bring it on the inside, and it was just so clean that transition. It was so...
She's so proud of herself. Look at it.
I love it. I loved that. I love that when you see my knee just come on the inside of my leg and setting up that ashi into double outside ashi. So
congratulations.
Yeah, it was fun. I like it. It was fun.
And it's awesome. No, it's so cool.
Yes. And she even bought a t-shirt, a Conca t-shirt that said Footlocks. She's not wearing it today. I don't know why she's not wearing it. She should be wearing it.
I have to wash it.
I put it on stinky.
I put it on right after. Yeah. But yeah, they have a shirt that it's the Fruit Loops logo, but it says Footlocks. And I was like,
because the jiu-jitsu people like to do puns on their t-shirts.
And I mean, given the way both my matches went, I was like, I totally need that.
Absolutely.
I totally need that.
Did your mom go?
Yeah.
So my mom was there. My aunt was there. Two of my little cousins were there.
Her grandparents
and my grandparents were there.
They looked so lost. It was so cute.
Did they go nuts when you won?
I don't know. I didn't look over. The downside was the way there was 4 mats set up. 3 of them were in the front, if you will, to where the bleachers were, and then there was one that was set back, and that's where my matches were, was in the one that was set back. So they were kind of at a distance watching it, but plus they were sitting at the bottom, and with people on the mat, it was kind of hard for them to see. So I don't know how they reacted. I mean, when I came out and saw them afterwards, they were super excited for me, and like, you know, they think that my mom's like, so should I have put you in this when you were 6 years old instead of skating?
But it didn't exist back then. Not at this level.
Not at this level. It did exist.
So I wish it had been around when we were kids. Oh man, I wish it had.
Can you imagine if I would have started this shit when I was 6? Holy shit.
So I don't have to be the old broad. There's a picture of me. Okay. You know how there's memes of like when you like it's funny pictures of when you post a picture of yourself and you're like all pretty and gorgeous, and then somebody else posts a picture of you and you're like, ah. So I am insomnia. I've said it before because the hormonies. So I had insomnia the night before your match, so I probably had maybe 3 hours of sleep.
Oh no.
I did not look good. I didn't have any makeup on. I had my hair up in a ponytail. I had a t-shirt on, and one of our guys from one of the other schools caught a picture of me and put it up on Facebook, and I'm like, that's the picture you put up of me?
That's the shot you got, really?
I already have a naturally just droopy face. I've had it since I was 3, so I just look like a basset hound. I look so tired, and I'm just like, I was coaching the kids, and I was just like, because I'm the kids coach. I'm one of the kids coaches now at our school. Yay! So I'm going to be teaching women self-defense and kids. Yay!
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I was coaching one of the kids, and it's one of those pictures that I would not have posted of myself. I'm not. It's fine. Like, it's, you know, but it just reminded me of that meme where, like, when you post a picture of yourself, you're like,
and then when someone else
and then somebody else says it, you're like, you didn't think about that, did you?
Oh, and he's a guy. Guys
he's
don't
a
think
guy.
about that
I know,
shit
and
either.
I'm not mad at him. It's fine. There's plenty of horrible pictures of me running around on the internet if you go look for them.
What's gonna happen next time you roll with him?
Oh, he's giant. I won't roll with him. He's from another school. It's fine. Yeah. But yeah, like there's pictures of me at the U of MMA that like somehow they found the worst possible angle of me, and they're like, let's post this on our website. I'm like, yeah, it's awesome. Thanks for that. So I've lived with the years.
That's what I was looking forward to.
Like today. The last 4 years, I'm like, every single picture of me is not something that I would have chosen that somebody else has posted. My struggles. I have a funny story.
Me too.
Oh, tell us.
You go first. You started.
Okay. So we're all buying t-shirts yesterday, and we're all with all of our teammates, and we have one. I love him so much, so I don't want you to think I'm making fun of you. I love you. We have a teammate who we call the Mexican, who I adore, and he has the best Mexican accent.
And we train with a bunch of Mexicans, but
right, he's
just
the
been
Mexican.
Deemed the
he's
Mexican.
From Mexico City. He has the best accent. I adore it. And I love when he gets excited about something because his accent is awesome. And so I was getting my Darth Vader shirt, and Becky was like, I can't wear that. And I was like, why? My brain wasn't working. I'm like, why can't you wear this? And she was like, think about it. And I went, oh, you guys, Becky's never seen Star Wars. And the Mexican with his awesome accent, he goes, oh my God, Becky's never seen a Star Wars? I was like, that's the best way I've ever heard it put.
Oh my God, you do that accent so good. I love it.
I'm really good at accents. I'm a voiceover artist for nobody that knows.
For
anybody that doesn't know. Sorry. For anybody that doesn't know, I do voiceover. And I can do accents if I am imitating somebody. You can't just be like, hey, could you do a British accent? I'm like, no, it's horrible.
We got to give you someone
you
like
have
a
to,
point of reference.
Yes. If you give me a point of reference, I'm really good at like picking up on people's nuances on the way they talk, and I can imitate them, but I'm horrible at coming up with it myself. So when I do accents, I have to imitate somebody. I have to go listen to them, and then I imitate them. And yeah.
So what's a good one? Are you?
Well, obviously, I just did the Mexican.
Okay.
Was that?
That was pretty damn good.
Hello.
That was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Becky's never seen a
Star Wars
with the E in front.
He's awesome. He's also a vegan, and he will tell you about being a vegan.
That was good.
He also sounds like my grandfather. That's probably why I do it so well.
That's awesome. You need to hear my father talk so you can do it.
I would love to.
You can do his.
Yes.
That's good. So after the tournament yesterday, and we went to eat afterwards, I went to visit my family because I hadn't seen him in a while.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about your imminent death.
Oh, my what?
When I got hangry and almost killed you.
There was that. Yeah, she hated me for us.
Dude, she took us to a taco place that had 47 people with the line out the door.
Okay.
And I was like, we are not eating here.
For starters, how was I supposed to know there was going to be 47 people there or whatever in line?
You were like, oh yeah, that's how it is.
But that's how good this fucking place is. There's a reason I wanted to take you. I chose this place because this place is good.
No, we were not standing in that line.
Well, we didn't. We went to Chronic Tacos instead. But next time, when you're not quite as hungry, we'll go there. So that you don't fucking bite my head off like you almost did. Seriously. I was like, shit, don't.
She goes, "You're angry with me, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Hangry like a mom.
Okay, tell your story. Sorry.
So, anyway, so I go and hang out with my family afterwards for a little bit, and my mom tells me this story. Apparently, totally don't remember this, but in my first couple of skating competitions when I was about 7 years old, when I was out there doing my thing, and I had just learned how to skate, so I was falling. Like, I'm pretty sure everyone at that
Bambi on ice.
Yeah. Like, well, you go try and do a jump or a spin or something, you're probably going to fall in your first couple of competitions. Apparently, I would fall, and I would look over at my mom and go, and then I would get up and keep going in my in my
That's
routine.
good that you like didn't cry or anything.
No, apparently I thought it was funny, and I would look over at my mom wherever she was and start giggling. But the way my mom put it, it cracked me up, and I kind of want to do that now. Like, if I fuck up in a tournament, like, oh shit, that's not it. Just look over at you and be like,
So that's what you do. If you ever have to tap out, you just tap out and then just start laughing hysterically.
I kind of wanted to start talking to her not shit talking.
Right. Hey, how are you?
I just wanted to like.
I like your rash guard.
Like when she was trying to get me in the Ezekiel choke and stuff, and I was moving out, I just wanted to be like, oh god damn, because like we're both breathing heavy at this point, so like I can hear her, I know I'm breathing heavy, and I wanted to be like, god damn, this shit's tiring. Nothing, no shit talking, just like,
how are you feeling?
Like
I'm tired. You good? Okay, good attempt. But we have a friendly sport. There's no reason. I mean, maybe not during the match, but there's no reason afterwards. You can be like, man, that was awesome. You almost had me.
But I totally was thinking that for like a split second in there. It's like I just want to like
maybe because that's what we do when we're training.
Here, like her ear, like my face is by her ear, and I wanted to be like, kind of just exhausting.
Your shampoo smells good.
Like,
what do you use?
I don't know what I would have said, but I felt like I wanted to start talking to her.
Why didn't you?
Because is inappropriate time.
Do you guys do a lot of talking when you're rolling in class?
I sing.
It depends on who you're rolling with, and everybody has a different relationship with everybody else. So, we talk, and sometimes like it depends on the moment and who you're rolling with. But for sure,
I've a few weeks ago they changed up the soundtrack that we were rolling to, and it was all like this 70s like rock stuff, like I'm trying to think, it was like, you know, Tom Petty and stuff like that was playing.
Yeah.
And one of the girls, my other teammate that competed yesterday, it's not totally her thing.
She's a little bit younger.
Yeah. And I think the song that was playing at that moment, she was just like, what the fuck is this? What is this music that we're playing, that we're listening to right now? And then I was rolling with her a minute later, and because I knew she was annoyed by the music, I just started singing it in her ear. I'm like, what?
We were totally the old ladies at the competition yesterday. They had a soundtrack that somebody obviously just downloaded a playlist and pumped it through the speakers. Bon Jovi was part of that playlist.
Oh, we were
rocking out. We were like, yeah! And one of the younger girls was looking at us like, what is going on with the two of you?
It's awesome right now.
You're like, it's Bon Jovi.
I don't know. It's fun.
You guys aren't that old yet.
I'm 39.
That's not old.
It's not young. It's not as young as most of the people doing jiu-jitsu.
She was old enough to remember.
Yeah.
When they came up. And
yeah. I remember when Bon Jovi first started playing on MTV, when they actually started, when they played music videos. Did you ever watch MTV? Have you ever seen MTV?
84, yes. 84, 85, right? Is when they were.
Yeah, something like that.
83.
I remember playing at my neighbor's house and watching MTV and watching. What were their two big ones? There was
Wanted, Dead or Alive.
No. The
TRL was mine.
No. Oh, TRL.
Jesus Christ, how young are you?
He's so young. Jesus. Get out of here. Okay, so there's the Slippery When Wet. There. What's the fast song? Not Living on a Prayer, but the other one.
I totally know what you're talking about, but now you're.
Whatever.
I'm on the spot
now.
So
I remember when it debuted on MTV because back then we were limited to our cable stations. There weren't as many as there are now. And so all the kids watched nothing but MTV. And there was the commercial that, I want my MTV. And that we would quote that. And I had one friend that wasn't allowed to watch MTV, and her mom knew that I watched it, an older sister, and she didn't. And so she'd be like, Donna, you're not allowed to watch MTV at my house. And I thought I would be so smart. And I'd be like, but I want my MTV.
Runaway? Bad medicine?
Maybe. Maybe
Those
it
are
was
hits.
living on a prayer. I don't know.
Could have been.
Maybe it's possible.
They had a lot of
Yo no
songs.
sé.
They have some good stuff.
Yo no sé. Guess where I'm going?
Where?
In less than 48 hours.
All
We're going to the motherland.
The
We're going
motherland.
to Mexico. And we're going to be laying on a beach for 6 days.
In a freaking little mansion, basically.
Yeah, we have some friends that are living the life, and we get to tag along with them, and it's going to be awesome.
Damn.
Do you want to switch? I'll go.
Yeah,
And I'll do
I'm sure
Joey's
that's
podcast.
Sure.
They'll be like, how come we can't hear or see anything? How come it's not on? How come it's just Joey sitting in a room talking and nobody can hear anything? And I'll be like, because I was producing it.
It sounds good. I'll go to the beach. I'll hang out with your husband.
Right? I'll give you my bikinis. You can walk out. What's that?
Absolutely. Look beautiful.
You better come back with a tan.
I better. Hell yeah, I better. I hear you.
Dude, you should see this place.
It's kind of
ridiculous.
You've been?
No,
No,
we saw
but she
pictures.
showed me
We
the
looked it up
pictures.
online, and we were like, "Oh my god!"
They
Yeah,
have-
our friends. And what I'm saying is, like, they live in the good life, and they were like, "You want to come?" And we were like, "Yeah, yep, whatever we need to do to tag along with you. Do you want me to carry your suitcase? I'm in. Let's go."
They have a chef. They have a bartender.
Yeah.
They have freaking...
In the house. I mean, what? Yeah.
It's like Sex in the City, too. They each, like,
Totally
have their
is.
own little person taking care of them.
Well, for the house,
24
I don't
hours
think
a
we
day.
have our own person taking care
Close
of
enough.
us.
It might as well be.
Yeah.
Okay, it's close enough.
But it's still going to be awesome, and our friends are incredibly amazing and generous to invite us, and hell yeah, I'm going. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I've been on vacation in 2 years. I was like, oh, yes.
I can't wait to hear about. Yeah, I can't remember the last time I went on vacation. That's gonna be so fun.
Yeah, I'm so stoked. Yeah.
So
It's
FYI...
been a rough start of the year, so I need it. Mama needs a vacation. Mama needs a vacation.
So FYI, due to this little vacation she's taking, next week we will not be on Monday, but probably Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah.
Probably Tuesday.
Probably Tuesday.
Yeah.
So until then, go visit justfloat.com and get 50% off your floating needs in Pasadena, California.
Promo code MT50.
For that 50% off, you can visit me at donnagonzalez.com for all of my social links and things.
All of the things.
And Becky, where can they find you?
At Bex and Violence on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Lee.
My name is Lee Syatt, and it's that on everything. LeeSyatt.com, Twitter, Facebook, and tell your friends, guys. This is a new podcast, so it really does help when you share it. Share it with your friends. Write a review on iTunes. Leave a comment. And we're gonna be out every week, so please start sharing it with your friends who like jiu-jitsu. Maybe who want to start jiu-jitsu. So please,
Absolutely.
share it around.
Share it around. Give us some love.
We can use the love. We
Yeah.
like the love.
Peace out, bitches. See you next week after I'm back from the motherland.
Bye, guys.